Hi everyone! With the new update 2.0 being out, there are many new and returning players, but unfortunately also some people misleading others on how to pull for substats with some confusing clock timer. So I wanted to create an actual guide on how to roll for substats efficiently while saving resources like shell credits and tuners. Before we dive in, let's clarify a few things. We need shell credits to level up echoes, and when we're trying to save, we want to spend as few as possible. In other words, fewer shell credits is better. Tuners also count as a cost, so again, fewer is better. Additionally, we want to pull specifically for two substats, crit rate and crit damage. This means the chances of getting both are crucial. The higher the chance, the better for us. But this approach works with any two specific substats, as long as it is just a pair of two, but not more. Okay, so I'm not some expert in this area either, but I'll try to explain it as simple as possible. The data I'm using comes from the Wuthering fandom website, which you can find in the description. Let's assume the data provided is correct. From what we see, the cost of leveling up echoes is quite high and scales exponentially. We also need to factor in 2000 shell credits every 5th level. That's because we're not just leveling the echo, but also aiming for the substats, meaning we're also investing one tuner. Now, if we compare the total cost for one level to the previous level, for example level 20 to level 15, we see that the factor doesn't scale exponentially. In fact, it decreases instead. This means in terms of shell credits alone, you should never roll higher than level 20, unless you already have crit rate and crit damage. Why? Well, if you compare the cost for level 25, which is 24,300 shell credits and 5 tuners, it's actually equal to 1.52 level 20 echoes with 4 tuners. This means that by stopping at level 20, you save 24,244 shell credits and 1 tuner. With that saved amount, you could level up 2 echoes to level 15, roll 3 substats, and still have more than 4,000 shell credits left at the additional cost of 2 tuners. Alternatively, with just 4 echoes at level 10 and 2 substats, you still have around 7,000 shell credits with an additional cost of 4 tuners. This means for the same investment, you'd essentially get 5 echoes at level 10 with 2 substats. Now you might think that having 5 echoes at level 10 with 2 substats would be more likely to roll crit rate and crit damage compared to 2 echoes at level 15 with only 3 substats. So let's break this down even further. Since we specifically want 2 substats, let's check the odds. The chance of having crit rate and crit damage at level 10 with just 2 rolls is 0.0129, or rather 1.29%. This means 1 out of every 100 echoes will have both crit rate and crit damage. But if we have 5 echoes, the chance of 1 out of those 5s having both substats is 5 times the probability, or 6.45%. Now let's compare that to 2 level 15 echoes with 3 substats. The chance of having both substats at level 15 is 0.0385, or rather 3.85%. That's nearly 3 times higher than at level 10. So the chance of 1 of the 2 level 15 echoes having both substats is 2 times the probability, or equal to 7.7%. This is already over 1% higher than the chances with 5 echoes at level 10. These are just the resources saved by not leveling up to level 25. If you only have crit rate at level 20 but are missing crit damage, you'll save more shell credits and tuners by making 2 level 15 echoes instead of trying to get the missing stat at level 25. The odds of getting that missing stat at level 25 are just too low, only 12.83% for having both substats at level 25, or rather 11% to get the single missing substat at level 25. In case you have a high roll already, like for example 10.5% crit rate, you can try, but usually you don't just want crit rate and crit damage, you might also need attack percent or resonance liberation damage, or even flat attack paired with crit damage and crit rate. If your other substats aren't as good, it's smarter to level up new echoes instead of gambling at level 25. Since the probability of having 2 specific substats at level 20 is quite high, 7.7%, or 1 in 13 echoes, you might wonder if it's worth going up to level 20. For the price of 2 echoes at level 20 with 4 substats, you get 3 echoes at level 15 with 3 substats. That is equal to 15.4% of having one echo with both crit rate and crit damage, what is only 11.5%. However, while the probability of level 15 compared to level 10 is 3 times higher, the probability for two specific substats at level 20 compared to level 15 is just 2 times higher. That means the highest gain in probability is at level 15. Another reason is the increase in expectation value. Now what's the expectation value? You can think of it as an error probability. Looking at the graphs, we can see that the delta increase is lowest when going from level 10 to level 15, which means it's not worth staying at level 10. However, going beyond level 15 becomes less efficient, even with higher probability, since the cost increases exponentially. As long as the scale factor is not 1 or lower, it's not worth it. Even though the value goes down, for level 20, the scale factor is 1.59, which is much higher than 1. To summarize, if you have one substat already, stop at level 20 and don't gamble for level 25. Only gamble for level 25 if your roll is very high already, for example 10.5% crit rate, and the other stats match, like attack percent, flat attack, or energy regen. You don't want flat HP or defense. If you don't have any of the substats you want, don't go higher than level 15. Sadly, there's no other way to improve this. We can only be efficient with our level ups and rolls, trying to save costs while still getting good echoes. This means, while you save on resources, you spend more time farming echoes. And while it's tempting to go for higher levels, it's just not worth it past level 15, which is the sweet spot in my opinion. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask in the comments.